All right, so picking up where I left off in the last part was concerning 2 Kings chapter 3, and let me read the following. In 2 Kings 3:16 to 20, it mentions that Edom was filled with water, and when rebellious Moab saw that, they thought it was full of blood. So when I looked at the meaning of a few names in the Strong's Concordance, Edom means red already, and it derives from the word Adam, uh, H122. And when I look at Strong's 122, Adam means red, ruddy, of man, horse, high fur, garment, water, lentils. And if you remember, Jacob gave Esau lentils or pottage, and Esau was named Edom after that. And the name Adam, for example, is read as well. Our first forefather Adam was created. He was taken from from the ground, uh, and the Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So the the word for ground used over here is not haaretz. It's not aretz. That means earth, but this means ground, and it actually, the word Adam comes from the word Adamah. Since man comes from the ground is called Adamah. Man is called Adam, and also the Hebrew word for blood is dam, which are pretty close. So coming back to the text of 2 Kings 3:16 to 20, Edom is covered with redness, reflecting by the water which God sent, and Nineveh is likened unto a pool of water as well. The 12th books of the first and second cycles, namely 1 Kings and Nahum, also remind me of the 12th chapter of Revelation, where the dragon released water out of his mouth, but the earth swallowed it. Prophecy teachers claim that tribulation saints, perhaps Jews, will hide in the land of Edom. Alright, continuing with Nahum chapter 2 and 2 Kings 3. The verse 5 says, He shall recount his worthies, they shall stumble in their walk, they shall make haste to the wall thereof, and the defense shall be prepared. And when you look at 2 Kings 3, during the war, the king of Moab was upon the wall. It says in verse 27, Then he took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. I have a hard time personally understanding what happened here, whether Israel won the war, or they lost, or they forfeited. But the king of Moab offered his son upon the wall. And going back to Nahum, they had fortified themselves, and they fought back, and And that seems to be a link. There seems to be a link between Nahum 2 and 2 Kings 3. Um, but Nineveh of old is of old like a pool of water, yet they shall flee away. Stand, stand, shall they cry, but none shall look back. Um, as I mentioned before, the country of Edom uh, was filled with water, as it was said. Um, the word stand is not is a common word, is a common term. Elisha said, "As the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand." That was used quite often. But there's the mentioning of a sword. And it says, "I will burn her chariots in the smoke, and the sword shall devour thy young lions." This is probably referring to the son that was sacrificed, the son of Misha that was sacrificed. It's an indirect prophecy. I mean, Nahum is addressing to Nineveh, whereas in 2 Kings 3 it was the king of Moab that offered his son as a sacrifice. And going on to the next set of words, and looking at Nahum chapter 3, let me read my comments above. Edom is being filled with water that looked like blood, is depicted as a bloody city, although in 2 Kings there's an important city that too much blood was shed, which fills this characteristics, being Jerusalem at the time of King Manasseh in 2 Kings 21, which also links to the 12th book of the second cycle, Nahum. So when you look at the country of Edom, it is said that it was actually filled with water. It says the country was filled with water, but on the other side, Moab saw and thought that it was blood. It was thought that the country was filled with blood, and it does have some kind of a connection to the bloody city. And let me read to you this comment which I had written. Drawing waters for the siege is what King Hezekiah did before Sennacherib came in 2 Kings 18. And they might have survived for a short period within the walls of Jerusalem, but it was only after Isaiah and Hezekiah prayed unto God that he delivered the city from the Assyrians. And one of the Moabite strongholds were Kir Hareset. And when you look at Strong's 7025, Kir Heres means wall of potsherds. And for some reason they had a lot of pots that they made a wall out of that, I guess. And it says one of the two chief strongholds of Moab. And looking at Strong's 2791, Cheresh means silently, secretly, magic art, magician, uh, and so on. And in Nahum chapter 3, it does mention once again a wall. And it says in verse 8, Art thou better than populous No, that was situate among the rivers, that had the waters round about it, whose rampart was the sea, and her wall was from the sea? Yet, in verse 10, yet was she carried away, she went into captivity, her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets, and they cast lots for her honorable men, and all her great men were bound in chains. And then in verse 12 it says, All thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with first ripe figs. If they be shaken, they'll even fall into the mouth of the eater. And verse 14 says, Draw thee waters for the siege, fortify thy strongholds, go into clay and tread the mortar, and make strong the brick kiln. And it is related to 2 Kings 3 because Elisha prophesied, and he said, And you shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree at the and stop all wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. Concerning Moab. And at the end, the king of Moab offered his son on the wall as a sacrifice. The next thing is the sunrise. It's a small couple of words, but it does link. The sun arises shown is what is in common between these two texts. Um, in Nahum 3:17, thy crowns are as the locust, and thy captains are as the great grasshoppers, which camp in the hedges in the cold day, but when the sun riseth, they flee away, and their place is not known where they are. And in 2 Kings 3:22, and they arose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And at the end, the Moabites were put to the worst. Well, if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, share it among your friends. If you have any friends that are interested in studying the Bible, um, invite them over. And if if you have any comments concerning the way that the video was made, or concerning the Bible study, the Biblewheel study, please do share. If you have any insights, if you have any anything regarding the subject, and God bless.